In this video, we'll be talking about Amazon editorial recommendations and offsite articles, which are used to get different posts and articles published by publishers and bloggers in front of potential customers of your Amazon product. This method could potentially increase your sales. Our guest here is Shane Oglow from PR Reach company, and this interview is hosted by LISETT LEES. She works with different Amazon brands. And before you continue watching the conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik. Here we talk with different Amazon industry experts, software creators, and event organizers.
Hello, Shane. It's nice to have you here today to talk about very interesting topic. But before we go into your presentation, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the Amazon space?
Yep, my name is Shane Oglow, and I'm the co-owner of PR Reach. And PR Reach is kind of an interesting business because it started off as just a video press release company, not really anything to do with Amazon, although Amazon sellers did use it. But we've slowly changed that over the years. And now we're more of a marketing communications PR company, but we focus a lot on Amazon sellers because that's where I came from. And my partner, Norm, he's done everything in the last 30 years, like anything e-com you can imagine he's done. But my Amazon journey in particular, I started, I think it was 2013 or so, as first brand. So I've been around a while. I was kind of that first wave of private label sellers that started 2012, 13, 14, when it became big. And of course, back then, there was no information at all anywhere. Like if you knew someone who was selling for 6 months, it's like, oh my gosh, that guy's been selling for 6 months. We better go talk to him. He probably knows everything. But of course, now there's so much information everywhere. It's totally changed. And we knew it would. We knew it would evolve and mature. So yeah, been selling on Amazon for a long time. And a lot of the stuff we do at PR Reach is really focused around Amazon and e-com sellers in general.
Okay, cool. And today you talk about really interesting topics, editorial recommendation and offsite articles. I think not a lot of people talk about it right now, or what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, it's funny because I remember last year, well, I guess more, actually, it was at the Prague event that Augustus has. The last time I went anywhere fun, that must have been in January, February of 2020, so somewhere around there. People were talking a bit about editorial recommendations a lot more, and nobody could figure out how to get into them. It's part of the on-site publishing group. And there was a lot of talk about it. So I spent a lot of time last year trying to figure that thing out and how it works. It hasn't been around for a long time, but it gives you great visibility on Amazon. It puts you above the fold. It gives you, basically it's like a paid third-party review or endorsement at the top of the Amazon search results. So it's a very powerful thing. And of course, when you have editorial recommendations and you also are organically ranked there, or maybe you got some ads there, you can get a number of spots above the fold for your own product. So it's a very powerful tool.
Okay, well, sellers love powerful tools. So I know you have a presentation for us as well to open this topic a little bit better. So let's go straight into that.
All right, so I've created just a handful of slides here. I just thought it'd be better to visually present this rather than just me talking about it. But yeah, Amazon editorial recommendations, and something a bit different that not really anybody knows about. It's called offsite articles, which is very powerful and very interesting, but it is different. And let's just get into it here. So Amazon editorial recommendations, for anyone who doesn't know, and if you're selling on Amazon, it'd be practically impossible not to know, but right above the fold, this is what you'll see. This is a very typical thing. It's always the same format. There's up to 3 showing here, and then you can click the little side button and it can show a few more, but you'll always see 1, 2, or 3 at the front. And that's just what it looks like. It's an editorial recommendation, and this happens to be by Simple Most, who did it. And the cool thing here is, as you can see, I typed in pool rake, I think, right after the top 3, boom, there's the editorial recommendation. So it's really giving you this top of page 1, real high visibility, always there. You're going to rank for different keywords depending on how we set it up, and that we could talk about that a little bit more later, but that's the whole gist of it right there. Now, if I look at this pool rake editorial recommendation, is you can see up here the company that made it, called Tough Jobs. So if I click on that link, it'll take me to their Tough Jobs page on Amazon, or you can click to read the full article. Okay, I think I might have. Oh yeah, I even circled them. But basically, this is a third-party publisher. Okay, and this is what's giving you all the authority. Now, when you click on to read the full article, this is the type of article you're going to see. This happened to be the pool skimmer one right here on the right-hand side, but I just grabbed a few random ones. I typed in various different keywords just to pull out the recommendations. And this is the format you'll usually see. Sometimes they get best overall, best fabric, here's top pick, parent's choice, different things like that. It's basically written as a review. So very often you'll get pros and cons. And I often get the question, they say, well, Shane, if I submit this editorial recommendation, can I write the article? Can I talk about this? Can I talk about that? No, you can't write the article. Otherwise, that would be more like a paid review. This is only written by the publisher. And what they do is they just take the information just from your product detail page. So if you've got different information on a website or something, they're not going to use that. And they will have pros and cons on there often. So they might say, here's 5 pros and 2 cons. And people say, well, I don't want the cons. Well, that's life. It's going to happen. But you have to realize they're not going to say anything especially bad about you, because this is an affiliate play for them. They want this article to convert, and they want people to buy the product based on this. So yes, there will be cons in there, and they will take those from your reviews, but they're not going to slam your products. You don't have to worry about that. Sometimes people wonder about that. All right, here's an example what I was talking about earlier, where I typed in what was it, carrot peeler there. Here's the editorial recommendation, and here's organic placement right there. And of course, you can have ads and other things. But one really interesting thing to note about this is this editorial recommendation is an affiliate play by the company putting it out. So if I click on this carrot peeler and I then buy the product, well, then that company gets an affiliate commission. Okay, great. Well, the interesting thing is number one, it's a 24-hour cookie. So the cookie doesn't last as long as a PPC, for example, which lasts a few days. And if I came over to this page and I didn't click on any of these products, but I clicked on read the full article, and I read the actual review, and I thought, oh, that's nice. I came back out of the article and I clicked on this to buy it. It does not cookie this. So there's no commission paid if you click the organic or the paid around it and you only read the full article. It's only if you click and then purchase. So you have to click the actual article to purchase. I hope that's clear. But it's a nice thing for Amazon sellers, because it means, first of all, it's just a 24-hour cookie. So if someone clicks on it on Wednesday and they buy it on Friday, you don't have to pay any commission. That's great. Gives you this great visibility. And I think too, a lot of times, if I type in carrot peel and I see this, which one am I going to click on if I like it? I don't know. I think there's just as good a chance of someone clicking on this one as this one, but it just gives that more visibility. So that's how the affiliate side works, or the cookie side on that. And there's nearly nothing else to say about that, is there? All right. The other question I'm always getting is, well, what kind of sales increase is it going to give me? Wow, that's a really, really tough question to answer, because it completely depends upon the product. Okay. So we've seen products just explode. We've seen other ones. Is it a result of the article maybe not being all that well written? Is it the price point? There's so many factors. Okay. But the transactions and details here are driven by the articles. And this is just a snapshot I took of someone's dashboard. And you can see the article published dates. This is at the end of October of last year. But it also tracks the organic and PPC sales. So it creates this halo. And if you remember, if I click on the editorial recommendation and I click on the product and I buy it, boom, this is going to be a PP or organic jump. There's a bit of a halo around this, and that's what I love so much. So yeah, you're getting some clicks here and some sales, from the article itself, but you're also getting the jump in organic and PPC. And that's really, really quite cool. So we're giving you the transaction and details driven by the article. So here, basically all the transactions, the go live date and the link, because each editorial recommendation has its own link. And I use that link all the time in other types of promotions, but we can talk about that later. Also the share of voice. And this is really when and how often the article appears and for what keywords. Now, sometimes you might just be showing, so when you submit through us, we will often submit up to 3 different keywords to show for. We don't have any direct control over this, although we usually get the first 1 or 2. That keyword obviously has to be very, very relevant for your product. And it's usually right at the front of your title. But Amazon, it's ultimately up to Amazon what keywords you're going to be showing for. And sometimes you'll show up for keywords you had no idea. Like they're testing, they're doing things. So it completely depends. But we're going to give you a report. We have a dashboard you log into, but you can get a report as well. And it's going to show you how often this is appearing for what keywords and for who. Now, the other interesting thing about editorial recommendations is that Amazon has its own algorithm for it. And this algorithm is going to show you different editorial recommendations than it might show to me based on your browsing and purchase history. Okay, so it rotates through. So even if I look on my computer right now, I type in carrot peeler, I might see that previous article we just saw, or I might see a different one because it's rotating through. It's seeing what gets the clicks. So it's kind of an interesting little setup they have. And now it's a very, very slow algorithm. It's nothing like the A9 algorithm. All right. So here's some guidelines. The next thing is like, okay, well, Shane, I'm starting a brand new brand. Can I get it into Amazon editor recommendations? No, you can't. Not going to work. First of all, you really need to be in the top 20% in your category. So if all your keywords are buried on page 10, ain't going to happen. You got to remember, this is an affiliate play. Amazon wants to make money on this. The publisher wants to make money on this. You got to be well ranked, generally speaking, top 20% of your category. If it's a brand new seller account, I've never seen someone with a brand new seller account get a placement. As a rule of thumb, I say 20K or more per month, 20 to 30K. Now it depends on how many products you have under a Seller Central account and a bunch of other things, but roughly speaking, 20K or more a month. The product should have at least 100 reviews, 4-star rating, and ranking for editorial terms. So again, if you're on page 10 for everything, it ain't gonna happen, right? The other interesting thing is to give it more juice and to give it higher odds of getting placed, you have to make sure your listing is fully optimized for these terms. Okay. I'm not sure why all these aren't dark black here like this one, but anyways, if you're, clearly the keywords you're going to go for should be in your title. You got to have your back end optimized. If your listing's a mess, Amazon's going to say, nope, thanks. There's other people we can give this to. And you really should have PPC running for the terms, especially when you submit for your editorial guidelines. And that's just going to help. It all works together, and that's going to give Amazon a little bit more reason to place your editorial article versus other people. All right. So that was a quick rundown on Amazon editorial recommendations. And of course, we can have a little chat about that a little bit more afterwards. But the other side of this is offsite articles. With Amazon editorial recommendations, there are certain categories and products they are just not going to promote. Supplements are one of them. And I know supplement sellers are always bemoaning because it's so hard for them to get, exposure sometimes. Nobody wants to touch them. Well, offsite articles will do things like supplements. And these are examples of offsite articles. These are just a few of a publishing group we belong to, Digital Trends, Wirecutter. Everybody seems to know Wirecutter nowadays, Best Reviews. There's a whole bunch of these publishers, and we're adding to them all the time. And the really cool thing about this is you don't have to be an Amazon seller to do this. You could just sell on Shopify, Walmart.com, whatever, and you can get an offsite article done. Most people I know, most sellers I know, still direct the links back to Amazon because after the last Amazon update, some people call it the A10 update, which happened, maybe at the end of the summer last year, Amazon's giving more weight than ever to outside sales and traffic. So when people get these offsite articles written, even if they're not, and it completely depends on the product. We've seen them explode and do awesome. We've seen them be kind of flat. It's all about that outside sales and traffic and these authority links. And it tends to really, really help out their Amazon listing. And that's the primary reason a lot of people are doing it, is just to get their Amazon listings ranked or pumped up. Okay, so the other really, really cool thing about it is, unlike Amazon editorial recommendations, which just sit above the fold, and that's cool, offsite publishers often will aggressively promote your product. And I just grabbed a few screenshots. And so what they're going to do, they'll email their list. Okay. They will, sometimes they'll take out ads. They'll do push notifications to their subscribers on Nomos. They'll do different types of social postings and ads. So they're going out there aggressively promoting, because for them, it's a pure affiliate play. They want to make as much money as possible. Now, I don't want to go crazy off into this, but because we're a PR firm, we can actually enhance that. So we can drive a bunch of other traffic to, let's say you get picked up by Best Reviews or Wirecutter. We'll drive a whole bunch of traffic over there just to make their promotion better, so that next time, if they make a whole bunch of money off of you, the next time someone in your category, they want to get an offsite article, they're going to tend to lean towards the brands that they know do very, very well for them. So I hope that makes sense. I've got more slides on this anyways. It's a little bit more complicated the way it's set up. Here we are again. I don't know why these aren't all dark black. I need to get better slide making skills, I think. Anyways. So offsite benefits are very interesting because, again, traffic and sales from the publisher's promotional efforts. So you're getting a publisher to work for you. And again, this is not like a, hey, mom and dad .blog, these, they have to be part of our publishing group. And there's certain credentials. I don't know what those credentials are exactly, but they're generally fairly heavyweight publishers. So you're not going to get some tiny little publisher in there. Increased product ranking on Amazon or wherever you're driving those links to, whether it's Walmart, Shopify, whatever. Now, if you're sending your traffic to your own Shopify account, for example, or your own website, you need to have an affiliate set up on there. And the publisher has to have the same affiliate connection. So it's a little harder to match articles with publishers when you're going to your website. It's not impossible, it's just a little bit harder. So that's why most people I know who are doing this are generally driving traffic back to Amazon or something like Walmart. And of course, now that traffic is heavily favored by Amazon. You get the increased authority by being published in a high traffic, high visibility publisher. And of course, you can post this on your social media. You can do whatever you want about it if you get these publications written about you to really maximize it. But the big thing is, a lot of Amazon sellers who are restricted, they've got restricted items, well, they can put them, supplements, keto, things like that. They can put them into offsite articles. I think I have one more thing here. Here's the differences, which I've talked about some of these. Oh, this is actually not correct anymore. One-time and continuous submission. They've stopped this literally 2 days ago. You used to be able to just do a one-time article, boom, for 1 month, that was it. Or do continuous submission. Now, basically what happens, and this is going to tie into the pricing model, is if you come to me and say, hey, Shane, let's do an offsite article. Great. So we get you published. It's 3 weeks down the road. Every single month that article is live, there's the placement fee, okay? And then a percentage you have to pay of the sales, okay? Now, they've just changed it where every single month that stays live and there's sales, you pay the placement fee and the percentage. It used to be just one upfront larger fee and then a smaller monthly fee. And the reason, I'm not sure why the reason, but we can't control how long these articles will be up and live for. Some publishers might keep them live for a month, might stay live for 3 months. You just don't know. I think it would depend on how well that article is doing. Okay, so it's very important to understand with Amazon editorial recommendations, you just pay a one-time fee to get it written and published, and you only pay if you get published. And same with this, you're only paying if you get published. You're not paying if nothing happens. But here you're paying a placement fee every single month plus the percentage. Whereas the Amazon editorial recommendations, you just pay once and then a fee every month based on the sales that generates. So the publisher determines how long the article lives for, completely up to them. We have no idea why or how they make their decisions on their end. But we do have a lower placement rate. So for Amazon editorial recommendations, I'd say we have about an 80% placement rate if your ASIN qualifies to get you published, which is great. With these, I'd say it's somewhere between 30 and 40%. If you're going for a super, super competitive category, keto or something, those odds might come down a little bit. But what you can do is you can update your article from month to month with new deals. And that's something you can't do with editorial recommendations. So when you submit an article, if you have a product for off-site, you can include a deal, which is really, really cool. So let's say we've got 20% on all our products, for the month of March, or use this code to save 30%, whatever. They love that type of stuff. And that actually increases your chance of getting published. Of course, you can't do anything like that with Amazon editorial recommendations. So what we can do when you submit those deals is every single month we can get them to update, not always, but your different deals. So you might have a different deal for February, a different deal for March, April, whatever, especially with seasonal products. And that might increase your chances of constantly getting traffic and sales generated from these offsite articles. And as I mentioned, if you're sending traffic to your website, you will need to have an affiliate set up on your website because they need a way to track it, obviously. And that has to match with an affiliate program that the publisher is involved with. But we handle that on our back end. And for reporting, this is a screenshot of the one of our spreadsheets. We're giving the date shipped, the ASIN, basically the name, category, number of items, price, revenue, the device it came from, and then the offsite publisher name. The offsite publishers aren't super generous when it comes to giving us data. That's something we're constantly working on to try and get more and more data from them as we're adding more and more publishers into our group. But yeah, that's the basic rundown of both those systems. If anybody's doing editorial recommendations or offsite article strategies, whether you do it through me or someone else, you can't do this on your own. You have to go through an agency, on-site agency with Amazon Editorial or the publishing group with the strategies. But this isn't all our strategies, but this is the basics of our strategies. Amazon editorial recommendation. So right up here, we want to make sure, first of all, you go for your primary terms. Some people want to try and go for multiple terms at once, different articles or outlier terms. No, we generally go in with our one of our primary terms. Make sure your listing is optimized. Make sure you're running PPC to increase the odds of Amazon wanting to publish you. Okay. We can spike the editorial algorithm to gain more share of voice. Now, I'll give a little secret here. You got to do that within the first 2 weeks of being published. Spike that algorithm, and that's what we specialize in doing, driving traffic to it in the first 2 weeks. Amazon will give you more share of voice. And every single month, you're going to get that share of voice report. So you're going to see exactly how often you are being shown in comparison to other articles. So that's part of that maintain and monitor. So you just keep your eye on that. If an article for some reason starts to do very, very poorly, all of a sudden you went down from having a 55% share of voice down to 5 or 15%. Well, there's things we can do. We can sometimes get the publisher to swap out the article or update the article, or we'll get a whole new article written. Then you can start adding articles for new keywords. And that's where it's, if you have an editorial recommendation for one of your main keywords, start going after other keywords with different articles and starting to own that space. Now, there's some categories on .com right now which are getting very, very full. I mean, if you want to get an editorial recommendation for, like Instapot or something, search, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's already full. That's the problem with Amazon editorial recommendations. It's first come, first serve. So if you're not in there, you need to move quickly. Once you have your article there, it's very hard to get you out. Your sales have to tank, or maybe you run out of inventory for a long period of time or something. But basically, you want to be the first one there because you're hard to dislodge. The UK right now is a wide open book. If you're selling in the UK, you got to get in there before anyone else does. You can own it. You can get so many keywords there. Amazon's going to show you all over the place. You might not have any competitors or very few competitors. Like on that window where they saw three products side by side, you might be the only one there. I mean, it's fantastic. So basically, you just want to drive outside traffic and links, whether you're working with influencers, you're doing some press releases or writing blogs or whatever you got, any outside links, send it to that editorial recommendation, and that will usually keep that article pretty healthy. Editorial recommendations, articles can stay there for years. Years. That can happen. So just that's how that works. Offsite, bit different. Hey, we have less control. The publisher, we don't know how long they're going to keep it up there for. You're paying each month. We're usually using it to boost our Amazon rankings, okay? A lot of people, what they do is they keep at least one or more ASINs in continuous promotion. Because we only have a 30 to 40% publish rate on average, if you gave me 10 ASINs tomorrow, maybe I only get 2 published, maybe get 4 published, maybe 6, I don't know. But I'm certainly not going to get all 10 of them published. That would be extremely rare. I might not get any published that particular month, depending on the types of products, time of year, all those types of things. So some people will keep 3 or 4 or 5 or however many ASINs in continuous promotion, trying to get at least one every month type thing, okay? That's one strategy versus just saying, hey, let's try it. Doesn't work. Well, should we try it again next month? No, just keep it going. Keep it going. Leverage the authority of the article. So if you get published by Wirecutter, I mean, that's awesome, right? Share that everywhere you can. I do a press release about it. I write blogs about it. I do all kinds. I'll be sharing on social. I'll be sending emails to my list. I put it in my newsletter, whatever you got going on. You want to make that publisher money. Drive those links to that Wirecutter article, because the more revenue they're going to make, they're like, hey, these guys are awesome. We want to promote this brand all the time. Drive traffic to Amazon. Keep that algorithm happy. I already mentioned that. And we do have an enhanced service. We haven't officially launched it yet to drive traffic and links to the article. Again, that's something we can do because we're a PR company. It's a little bit easier for us to do that. So if you do get published, let's squeeze every drop of juice out of that, and we'll drive links back to it. Now, I did throw a couple of links in here. These are submission links if you want to submit for each type of article. Again, you don't pay for any of these unless you get published. But yeah, hey, that's the basic rundown on how that works. I hope I didn't talk too fast. I know there was a lot to cover there. I know we don't have a lot of time.
No, you did just fine. Everything was super understandable. You brought in actually quite a lot of different details to follow. At least for me, I would like to go back and go everything through again to really understand the differences and the similarities between two. But perhaps as a starter, could you please describe a little bit the process the sellers have to go through? Let's say from the point, let's say I'm a seller, I have a product that fits the requirements you list down in your presentation. So what is the next step? How can I go forward?
Yeah, you just fill out the submission form, and we take all the pertinent information, which is a lot of that was those details I gave you, and we submit it to our publishing group. And if it gets picked up, usually takes 4 to 6 weeks to get published on Amazon.com. It's a bit faster in the UK, maybe 3 to 4 weeks in the UK. And that's it. And we just let you know as soon as the article goes live, we're like, okay, your go live date was January 20th or whatever. And we will also be communicating with you to give you back-end access to a dashboard, so you can monitor how many sales. You'll see that halo, that organic and PPC halo. You'll see how often the share of voice, so how often you're being shown for what keywords to what audience. Yeah.
And what is the information sellers usually have to provide? I know you mentioned during the presentation, for example, with the editorial recommendation, there is no way the seller can write the article, but is there like any way to influence the articles to write about, let's say, about certain product feature or to emphasize it? So nothing.
No, unfortunately not. So in our submission form, we're just going to get your ASIN, number of reviews, and the 3 keywords you would like to rank for, and we just submit those to Amazon. Again, usually we'll get that, first 1 or 2 keywords, sometimes all 3, sometimes other ones, Amazon will test. You just never know. But that's it. We can't do anything else. We can't, direct the publisher to focus on this or that. Now, one thing you can do is if your product changes, so let's say you you change the design a little bit or whatever, like there's a material change to it, we can often get them to edit and upgrade the article to reflect those changes because we want it to be very, very accurate.
So regarding to the price, if you would compare the editorial recommendation versus offsite articles, what are the costs that sellers should consider when they would like to use either both or one of the options?
Yeah, and we do have people doing both, especially depending on what stage their business is at. But for Amazon editorial recommendations, right now we're charging a $1,500 placement fee, and that gets the article written and placed. You don't pay if you don't get placed, though, so it's not like you're taking a chance with either of these. It's only if you get published. So it's a $1,500 placement fee to get it written in place. Wonderful. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks, and then monthly there's a recurring fee of $125 and 10% GMV, which is the gross merchandise value. So basically, if you had 1,000 sales in the month and 100 of them were attributed to editorial recommendations, you'd be paying 10% of that 100. Okay, so it's not a large fee in my mind for what it's giving you. We actually have a second tier we created there, and this is a bit of an experiment we want to do because I know a lot of sellers who are their ASINs probably qualified, but they're still really just up and coming. They're like, oh, $1,500, and I get it. I've been there. So we wanted to do something a bit different where we would absorb the placement fee, so there'd be no one-time fee at all. And once your article is published, there would just be a 30% GMV fee. So we're taking a bit more of the GMV, but we're covering all those costs. And that would allow people to get in a little bit easier who might be concerned about a larger cash payment. For offsite articles, that's a little bit different. Once you get published, every single month that article is live and there's sales, there's going to be a fee, and that fee is $600 plus 17% GMV. If there's no sales or anything, that even if the article is live, no sales, there's no charge. So that's basically how it works. Those offsite articles don't tend to stick around forever. Like I said, the Amazon editorial recommendations can stay around for a year or two or longer. The offsite won't do that. So you might be around for a month, 3 weeks, 4 months. I don't know. It just depends. If you want it to stop, we can reach out to the publisher and get them to pull it down. It's not a fast process. Dealing with all these publishers is a little bit like herding cats sometimes, but we can get them pulled down.
Okay, so thanks. First of all, thanks for this information. But taking into account like how long the articles are displayed to the, let's say, viewers or customers, would you then recommend first going with editorial recommendations, then with the offsite articles? Let's say when the sellers just want to test out either of them.
Yeah, well, I think Amazon editorial recommendations is a must-do, and there's only limited space. If you don't get there first, you're not getting in. It'll never be available to you again. Well, I shouldn't say never, but chances are very, very slim. Get your products in for your keywords. Get ahead of your competitors. It's prime top of Amazon real estate. Who wouldn't want that? That's what I would do first, and then I would look at maybe driving some offsite. If you're one of those sellers who has products that you can't get Amazon editorial recommendations for, I've got lots of clients, obviously lots of supplement clients I work with for not just editorial recommendations. Keto, I had someone come recently. He has got these electric dog shock collars. That's not going to work. Anything that could be anything controversial. I had someone who's selling political things. Nope, not going to happen. So there's quite a few things that Amazon won't publish. In that case, then yes, offsite is where I would be constantly trying to get published. It's totally worth it.
Okay, so it's a great alternative for that. Awesome. Yeah. So thank you very much. And if someone would like your help and your agency's help with these two topics, then what's the best way to reach out to you? And perhaps once more, you can tell us what are all your services you offer to Amazon sellers?
Oh boy, we do a lot of stuff. I tell you, and we do things outside of the box. We're not quite normal Amazon company. We do obviously press releases and content and that type of thing. But we also do SEO ranking on Google, driving it back to Amazon or wherever you like. We also do public relations and earned media. And that's when brands take things to the next level. That's where we're getting published every single month. We're keeping on top of the news and media cycle, magazines, websites. We do television, we do Today Show, Rachel Ray, radio, podcasts, you name it. That's what our media team does, is they take you to that high-end brand level. And that's, yeah, we've got some little things like this, editor recommendations and small little content pieces that we work on from the side as well to enhance. We do Amazon launch and rank campaigns as well through our own unique proprietary system we have. So yeah, we have a lot of things. This is the problem. When someone says, hey, Shane, what do you do? I go off on this big tangent and nobody knows what to start with because there's too much stuff. So I usually don't like to talk about everything, right? So yeah, we do a lot of stuff to help Amazon sellers. And if anybody wants to talk to me about this kind of stuff, I love chatting about it. I talk too much about it. Shane at prreach.com. Just email me personally. I'm happy to have a chat and answer your questions.
Great. Thank you so much for coming here today, and hope to see you soon again.
I hope this video was useful for you and you will be implementing this in your Amazon business marketing strategies. And also check the link below to Shane Oglow's company, and his team will be happy to help to whatever you need to assistance with in your Amazon business. You'll find his website in the description and how he can serve you. And now I would like to invite you to watch other video with Shane, which we recorded a while back, where he explaining how press releases could help market your Amazon product as well.